Before starting this video, I want to give an unpaid shout out to Letterboxd because, and doing this video, I'm literally using it as a tool because on there you can create lists, and that's what I'm doing. I'm breaking up this video into a couple different categories. The first one I want to talk about is IP, intellectual property. I don't have anything against IP movies, IP films, or reboots or anything like that, because sometimes there can be a really good movie behind that. Like last year with Alien Romulus and Furiosa, I think those both were really good films and unique films. And but when it comes to things like weird things like Twisters and Beetlejuice and Gladiator 2, with IP, naturally you're just going to get terrible adaptations, because it's always been the trend with Hollywood, is what makes money, what gets these people to watch these movies and really love them. They're usually adaptations or remakes. It's like a fetishized nostalgia. It's just how movies have succeeded since they've become a thing in pop culture. Then that's what Hollywood really gained all of its success on, is buying the rights to books and putting together, creating this industry, this economy of all of the actors and all of the filmmakers, and all live in the same city. And it's just this factory of movies. Some of the best films of all time have come out of that system, and some of the biggest box office bombs of all time have happened too. And that's just always been the natural way of the business side of filmmaking. As you can tell now, all of the shit that they're pumping out and putting millions and millions and millions of dollars into is not that good. With filmmaking being so accessible and the independent route for filmmaking and choosing the artistic side, Hollywood studios kind of become useless when the technology is out there in everyone's pocket. When there's $200 million Marvel movies being made 3 times a year, it's really hard for those smaller films to be in theaters and have a bigger platform and be promoted, other than Disney buying up a theater, releasing a Marvel movie, a Pixar movie, and a 20th Century Fox film out in theaters, and that'll take up an entire theater and not allow smaller films to be in there. As far as the MCU, they're releasing 3 films this year: Captain America Brave New World, Thunderbolts, and the Fantastic Four. I am personally a fan of the MCU. As of lately, not so much. Their shows have really no depth at all into the storyline of the MCU. They're rarely coming out with movies now, because I think Marvel actually knows that it's just not the same since Endgame. Film, they try to build up as the next big one, like they tried to do with, it just seems like they're constantly saying it's Endgame level stakes, or it's Endgame, it's supposed to be as big as Endgame, or the next villain is supposed to be as big as Thanos. Like, we're comparing it to what everyone loved. No Way Home, they did that with the Multiverse of Madness. They did that with Wakanda Forever. What happened with the MCU in the 2010s was such a lightning in a bottle thing. It was a once in a lifetime thing. It was kind of a miracle that it was successful. If you were to tell someone in the 80s that in 30 years America's favorite films would be about superheroes, they would think you're insane. Endgame came out about 6 years ago, and since then, Marvel has not been in the discussion amongst people and excitement when it comes to Marvel anymore. There's generally just a lot less investment in Marvel films in mainstream society. As bad as some of the films can be, it's still just my inner child just wanting to experience this, and I feel like that's kind of the majority of the fans now, is people who are just so bought in to Marvel in general, and people who actually like superheroes are the only ones who are really going to watch these films, which is good. Like, that's how it should be. I think if Marvel were to put less money into the budget of making these films, cost $150 million to $200 million to make, and you only make $90 million, why keep making $200 million movies? It's just not good business. When you have films like The Brutalist that are made for $10 million and they're getting nominated for Oscars. Not that the Oscars mean anything either. So, with all that being said, I am excited for Captain America Brave New World. I am such a huge fan of the cast of Thunderbolts that I most likely am going to end up seeing it. And then Fantastic Four is a film that I've been needing to be seeing for a while now, and I feel like it's about time that this film comes out. Captain America Brave New World does come out very soon. It comes out on Valentine's Day, I believe. The Russo brothers are executive producers on this film. It is directed by Julius Ona, who directed the Cloverfield Paradox, which I've never seen. But the trailer has the Russo brothers' fingerprints all over it. You can tell they're selling it as like this 70s political paranoia thriller, especially with Harrison Ford as the president. It's really giving like Air Force One, Witness, Clear and Present Danger, Presumed Innocent. I personally love the casting of Harrison Ford as the U.S. president in a Marvel movie. Yeah, that sounds like a movie I want to fucking go see, you know? The films that I'm looking forward to that are IP, driven is they are remaking The Running Man, a film from 92, I believe, or 91 with Arnold Schwarzenegger. It's a dystopian fascist police state film. And that involves like a game show for survival. It's a really fucking good film that I recommend you watching if you've never seen it before. It's probably my favorite Schwarzenegger film next to Jingle All the Way, being directed by Edgar Wright, which I believe this film has been in the works for a few years now. It's going to have Glenn Powell, Josh Brolin, Michael Cera, Lee Pace, who is like a really fucking amazing actor who was in the Hobbit movies. He played Ronan the Accuser in Guardians of the Galaxy, and he was also in Bodies, Bodies, Bodies like 2 years ago. And I loved his performance in that. So that's my section on IP in Disney. I guess the next section is going to be, I don't really know how to explain it. The list I made on Letterboxd that I'm using to organize all these films is called Big Movies, Big Director, Big Actor, etc. But it's just a list of films where it's a big director's project that's been highly anticipated. I guess it's just the next step up into being a film fan. There's no Christopher Nolan film coming out, but if you're in that next step into movies, it's like Christopher Nolan's The Odyssey that's going to be coming out in 2026, where it's a big director who's coming off a big hit like Oppenheimer, and it's just a big cast and a big director in their next big project. Original or original adjacent films from a big director or a big writer or starring a big actor. To start off this list, I have Mickey 17. It's going to be directed by Bong Joon-ho, and it's his first film since Parasite, which came out in 2019 and swept the Oscars. It beat out Irishman, Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. I personally think 2019 was the last great film year. 2019 was a year that I believe had a lot of 5-star films like Parasite, like Uncut Gems, like Midsommar, like Knives Out, like Little Women. Parasite is also one of the most deserving and satisfying Oscar wins. The most satisfying Oscar wins since Moonlight. I was so happy, and Bong Joon-ho's acceptance speech still sticks with me to this day. But Mickey 17 is a film starring Robert Pattinson. It's a film that's based off a book that's kind of giving that Tom Cruise and Emily Blunt movie, Edge of Tomorrow, where it's like a live, die, repeat kind of thing, where he like dies multiple times. Hence Mickey 17. I believe there's like 17 of them or some shit. The trailer makes it look like a really silly film that is probably going to be very touching, like all Bong Joon-ho movies are. Toni Collette, Stephen Yeun, Mark Ruffalo. Film looks great. I think it is going to be in IMAX theaters. Release date did get postponed because it was supposed to release in January of 2025. But I think the release date before that was last year. So this film was finished for a while. Because I remember there was that one picture that I'll show right now that was floating around. The next one is F1 with Brad Pitt and Damson Idris. I believe that's how you say his name. He's from Snowfall, which was that John Singleton show. F1 is going to be directed by Joseph Kosinski, coming off of Top Gun Maverick and Spiderhead. He did make a Only the Brave film about the firefighters in Prescott, so shout out that film, or Prescott or whatever. He also made Oblivion and Tron Legacy, which I'm a huge fan of Tron Legacy. I love that movie ever since it came out. I was like 10 when that came out. And the cool thing about this film is that it's actually being shot on F1 tracks, and it's actually licensed from Formula One racing. Brad Pitt is going to be a F1 racer who's going to drive for Mercedes. Damson Idris, I believe, is going to play his teammate, and I don't think they get along, and it's going to be like this, you know, old head and young guy, young hotshot, and it's gonna be a movie. One big one that I think is not going to get enough praise when it comes out. It's gonna go fall under the same category as Nosferatu, I believe, where it's gonna get some shine, but I don't think it'll truly be praised the way it should. I'm talking about Sinners, which is Ryan Coogler's first original film since Fruitvale Station, and I've been waiting for Ryan Coogler to make a different movie outside of Creed and Black Panther. I believe it was rumored a really long time ago that this was going to be a vampire movie. It's not being marketed as a vampire movie, and this is kind of not. I don't want to say this is a response to him not making Blade, but this is a reason that Marvel should let him make Blade. The trailer looks amazing. It has Michael B. Jordan, Jack O'Connell, Haley Steinfeld, and Delroy Lindo, which I believe he's one of the greatest actors of all time. So another one, Antoine Fuqua's Michael, which is going to be the biopic about Michael Jackson, which I completely disagree with this movie. I love Michael Jackson. I don't think there should be a movie about him. We don't really need it. Michael Jackson is one of those people where they're so big and so popular and such a star that it's impossible to put that feeling into a film, and Hollywood makes the same mistake a lot of trying to do that. So my most anticipated is Marty Supreme by Josh Safdie, starring Timothée Chalamet and many more, written by Ronald Bronstein and Josh Safdie, the same writers as Uncut Gems, still shot by Darius Khondji. Since Uncut Gems, I have been eagerly waiting for the next Safdie Brothers project, constantly looking for news about any rumors or anything like that. For a very long time, it wasn't Marty Supreme that was supposed to be coming out. It was supposed to be Adam Sandler, who I believe is a sports trading card collector, and Ben Affleck was playing a retired baseball pitcher, and Megan Thee Stallion was part of the cast, but I don't know. There was no plot details, and then there was nothing for a while. A while later, there was set photos. So I was like, oh, okay, so that baseball one's out the window. This summary says a fictional story set in the world of 1950s ping pong culture, loosely inspired by the life of professional ping pong player Marty Reisman. The production design by Jack Fisk, who is one of the best production designer for some of the greatest films of our time, and seeing a filmmaker like Josh Safdie being able to direct Fisk, I think I'm going to love it no matter what. My excitement is going to have me love the movie no matter what when I see it. Please go to the movies and see these films and let me know what you think. Put it in the comments. What films are you excited for? Did you learn something? Did it make you want to go look for other movies that I didn't talk about? Hopefully. And my goal this year is to try and highlight those ones that deserve the praise. Just really trust me, stick with me. I'm going to build this channel. But yeah, that's it. That's my video. Thank you guys for watching. Your support means a lot to me. So if you just want to like, subscribe, all that. So I'll see you guys in the next video.